Hey, welcome everybody to Bridging the Seen and Unseen. I am your host, I'm Shane McLain, and this is my co-host, Bray. Glad to have you guys here, and I'm excited about this show. I'm really excited about hearing from this guy. It just seems like the hour goes by really fast. So I'm gonna go ahead and get this guy on. He's called the Ghost Guy. He's a podcast producer, and his name is Bady Goble. Let's bring him on.
Hey guys, how's it going?
Hey, what's up, buddy?
Thanks for having me on here. I appreciate it.
Absolutely. We always start out, and this is a pretty organic. It's like we're having a conversation right here. But can you tell everybody who you are and about yourself?
Yeah, my name is Bady Goble. I am from Brainerd, Minnesota. I am currently hosting tons of events in the northern Minnesota area, from Bena to Brainerd to now I'm announcing events at Malvern Manor, at Broadhead Manor. I just had back-to-back sold-out nights at the Boyd House, so I have been busy doing events lately. I am known for chasing paranormal. I filmed at 5 different locations, a docu-series with raw footage on the paranormal with validity on each case on why there's a haunting there. So I filmed at Big Winnie General Store, the Boyd House, Franklin Historic Jail. I filmed at Edinburgh Manor, the Palmer House, Leduc Historic Estates. So like I've been busy over the last 5 years to like sum myself up quickly.
Now, do you just stick with the Minnesota area, or do you go pretty much everywhere?
It's been Minnesota primarily. I've done a few Iowa filmings, but I've never done events in Iowa until next spring, where I just announced Malvern Manor, and Wisconsin with Broadhead in April. So this is the first time I'm really branching out with the brand of everything that I'm doing. So
How far East Coast have you gotten?
I have gotten out, let me see here, East Coast. Pretty much just Minnesota. I haven't done any Wisconsin locations yet. Yeah, I've been focusing on like highlighting the most haunted locations across Minnesota. And then I threw Edinburgh in, chasing as like a bucket list location. And then we got into a jail that's never been touched, like a mom and pop jail. So it fit the narrative of it all. But it primarily was supposed to be in Minnesota because I wanted to like showcase the hidden gems of the state. So after I got that out of the way, now I'm trying to branch everything out. So I'm bringing like public events to where the public can join me on my first experiences at these locations and see like we can figure out the validity to each location and its history together, you know, that kind of a thing.
You've really put a stamp in the spotlight out there in Minnesota, man, because there's a lot of places like people haven't heard of that have seen that through you. And so I mean, like, there's a lot of people that know who you are on this side,
Wow.
and so I mean, you do have some people over here that recognize, and like I said, you're putting a stamp over there, because like when we think of like haunted places and stuff, we think of like Gettysburg, and I mean, but these places that you've been to, like you put a stamp on them, man, and you've brought attention to those areas, and I'm sure those locations really appreciate that.
Yeah, see, that was the thing with Chasing Paranormal. Like, I've never been filming or doing anything for the idea of getting popular. It's been about teaching people history that they've never heard of, or about haunted locations that they've never heard of as well. So, like, me hearing from people that I've taught them about new history and new paranormal locations, or even getting them into the paranormal, that's reward enough. Like that for me is knowing like the Franklin County Historic Jail down in Hampton, Iowa. We filmed there, and then immediately after, people are now doing ghost hunts there as an Airbnb where they weren't even open to it before. So it's a really cool thing. And like the Boyd House, we were one of the first early teams to film there. I'm not going to say the first, but with our group and the other groups that filmed there really gave that a push, and now the Boyd House is a really hot spot in Minnesota. Like it's an incredible location. I'm not saying that's because of us. it was a big pushback in like 2022 when
Well,
we
you have
released
a
it.
lot to do with that, man.
Yeah, you know,
I'm telling you, because of the way that you film and you branch out and stuff like that, you know, it brings a lot of attention to these locations. And they're like, man, I didn't know Minnesota had this. And
yeah, and
it's like it. I'm glad there's people like you out there in the area and everybody like that who's not scared to branch and really support their state like that. That's amazing, dude.
no, that's what it's all about. Because, you know, like doing events and what it goes back to the locations, you know, for like if it's an Airbnb, that's going to help them with restoration
Oh
costs. It's
yeah.
going to help them, you know, like, and that's the same thing. If you want to see these places staying around, that's what it's all about. Like, and seeing all these people flood in for all these locations now, like all across the state selling out, like not even a break. I sold out my 11th event in northern Minnesota, consecutive in a row. Like that's a huge thing for up here. Because in the past,
Yeah.
you've known, like it used to only be like southern Minnesota, and we'd have to drive 3 hours if you live up by the Canadian border to get to anything. And now people are really opening up to the concept of the paranormal and the other side. You know, they want to learn more about it instead of being like, I saw a ghost, you know, like back in the day. Now people are like approaching you like, oh, I have these experiences, and they'll tell you all about it. And it's really cool.
What are some pretty infamous ones around there that people probably know of? They just don't know too much about the location.
I think the most infamous location around here is the Last Turn Saloon in Brainerd, Minnesota. Like I've never been in here, but in Brainerd, this is like the historic location of Native American land, and then it also has ties with Babyface Nelson coming through in the Prohibition, stealing $32,000 cash, which is like equivalent to $250K now. And then he shot bullet holes, which are still in the wall of that downtown area there. And they took off through the tunnel system and down the road shooting Tommy guns. Like, and the Last Turn Saloon is like apparently one of the most haunted places around, because everybody that talks to me about this location says there's a lady in white, a white dress. There's someone always walking through there, a lady in white. So I'm like compelled by this location. I've seen footage there, but I've never been in there. So if you are at the Last Turn Saloon, allow me in there, please, because it is going to be a hit. Okay, I'm done. Anything else?
Awesome. That's awesome. Now, how long have you been involved in the paranormal?
I've been involved actively as an investigator I started in April of 2020. That's what it was. So 5 years.
Oh, okay. Okay.
So yeah, going on 6. And I've been into it since I was like 10 years old, watching Ghost Hunters with my parents on Sci-Fi.
Is that what got you into it? Was like
Mason Grant, them as the plumbers back in the day, and then they'd be like, hello, you know, and they'd be like, oh yeah, Grant, we gotta go. And then at the end, they're like, on to the next. You know, like I was always like, this is awesome, let's go. So that was like the show that got me into it. And yeah, and here I am.
Yep. And I get it. And you know, I'm in ministry, you know, and things like that. And I actually started this podcast, you know, to bridge the gap between paranormal and clergy. And so like I had my first experience when I was 10 years old. And I saw my grandfather, and I know what I saw, and I can still remember the day that I saw it, and I have never forgotten that. And I am 48 now, and I still want to find the same answers as I did when I was 10 years old.
Hey,
And
yeah.
so, I mean, I love it, man. I love it. And, you know, I love the paranormal field. I love people in the paranormal field. People ask me, they're like, are you paranormal clergy? No, I'm not. I am clergy that works in the paranormal.
Oh,
There is a difference there, you know, like paranormal clergy, you know, sticks with paranormal and then brings clergy into it. No, I'm clergy first that comes into the paranormal.
Yeah. Nathaniel, he's watching. So is Shane, Marla.
How's it going, Nathaniel?
Yep, Laura Pruitt. She may be one of your people. I don't think I've seen her, but welcome, Laura.
Yeah.
Nathaniel said, oh, wait a minute, I need to read. Don't lie to us, Shane. You're like 25 years old, brother.
I wish, man. I wish I could. Yeah, but I'm 48, man. I was I was born in 7/27/77. So last time I checked, that's I'm getting up there, bud.
No, when I first got into the field was when I reached out to Matthew and Arnold at Big Winnie, and I was like reaching out for all of these filming opportunities. And then Big Winnie was the first one back, and they were like, let's do this. We have something going on. I was a skeptic believer at the time. So I'm like, prove me wrong.
That's interesting.
Everything that we filmed in that first episode was my moment of me being like, holy crap, this is real. Like this is real. Like sitting next to Arnold with my spirit box in his hand, and they're saying seed, and that's his nickname as a kid. And then we're getting Grandpa Bina, and then we got the footage of the Native American woman with like a book walking, submitted by a camper. That's like the most unreal footage I've ever seen. And that was like, oh my goodness. And then it fast forwards to this year at the Palmer House, where I was working with Patty Negri, and in the basement, she went upstairs, and this is a time I saw my first full-bodied apparition. So like, this year we did an event at the Palmer House with Patty Negri through the Spirit Realm Network, and Patty went upstairs, and I didn't know this, and I saw at the end where there's a staircase where like they found the bones. I thought I saw Patty Negri walk back there because I was in the other corner of the basement. Little do I know, I messaged Patty and like, are you down here? And she's like, no, I'm upstairs. I saw a woman that was like mimicking Patty Negri. So I go upstairs and I tell people, and they have a dress on display with a photo of Miss Palmer at the Palmer House. I saw Miss Palmer to a T, because I was believing it was Patty Negri, but I saw like shorter, early 1900s hair with a black dress past and diminish. And yeah, that was the first time I've ever seen an apparition. So that was like my moment, like this is unreal. Like there is such thing as
that's like the creme du gras right there. Is people get like orbs and stuff like that, but when you get a full body apparition, there's nothing like that. I'm a dialysis patient, and I've been on dialysis for a while, and the manager from there called my wife and I, and there was a guy there that committed suicide. And inside, and they believe that they were having some residual inside there, and it was really affecting. And the manager there was a skeptic until she got touched one day.
Yes,
she got touched, and then I'll never forget that call. Angie and I were sitting here, and the phone rang, and I saw that it was my dialysis center, and I picked up, and it was Angel, and she was like, McLain. And I'm like, yes. And she goes, you've got to come here. I said, what do you mean? And she was like, it touched me. And I'm like, what are you talking about? I had to, because I knew she was a skeptic.
Yeah.
And she did get touched. And then all of a sudden, another nurse came in that had a picture of a shadow figure in a mirror. There was another lady there that looks like Medea, who was in the building by herself, that saw a shadow figure go right from the room to another one, so much that she called the law out there to come clear the building before. Wow. So we went out and we did an investigation that night, and all of us were on one side of the building, and we had little cat balls laid out. We had a REM pod way down the very end, and we were waiting to see if anything was gonna, come through. And I'm not kidding you, Brady. When we were sitting there, we thought someone was coming in through the hallway, and we looked to the side, and everybody that was with us was on the same side as us. And then at the other end of the building, all of a sudden you see this like 12-foot thing just stand straight up like this and then move right across the wall. And we thought it was somebody, but there was nobody over there.
That is crazy. Thanks for sharing that. Wow.
Hey, Brady, Sean, who is eternal ex Wolfpack. Goodness, Sean, I mess that up all the time. He says, I don't know if you can see the comments. He said, have you ever had Have you ever been to a spot when you got there? I don't know about this, and have to leave. I guess he's asking, did it freak you out enough where you didn't want to go back, or you had to leave?
I've never left a place, but when I was in the basement at the Palmer house, there's a lot of times where it feels like there's somebody watching you in the shadows, and that's like my kind of feeling. Like I go in kind of head on. Like I don't back away because I know like the worst, I'm going to get an attachment, but I know I'm not going to like pass away if I go do something like that, unless I have a heart attack. But I go in. I go in. Like if I'm there, I try and get in touch with the spirits that I'm there. I want validity. And like if I'm going to Edinburgh Manor and the Joker, that was another spot in the basement. Like if you watch the episode, I'm going right in. And like that, it felt like people were watching me the whole time there. But at the Palmer house, that was the one that gives me the willies. Like that basement there, they call it the haunted highway because that hallway is like an active portal. I believe that there's visitors coming through from different eras. There's a time capsule. Like that is the one place I've ever been uncomfortable and like kind of scurried my way out when I'm setting up like filming equipment or something. Right. But when I'm by myself, but I've never had to leave a location yet. Maybe in the future, I have no idea. I've heard of people going to the Boyd House and leaving.
Wow. I've heard of that, but
I've heard of that. I haven't had that experience, but I've heard some stuff when I've been there. So that's giving me the willy.
I know you're having the event at Broadhead, which is like my favorite place on earth.
Yeah.
I'm going back at the end of November, but when you go, have you ever been there at all before? Investigation?
No. No, I've chatted with Bill. I've chatted with Bill like on and off for a few years, just like making ideas for filming, which didn't work out and all that. And then the event idea came up, and that's been a hit.
Now, do you go as like a paranormal investigator, with all the bells, whistles, and stuff like that, or do you mainly go with cameras?
When I do the events?
Yeah.
When I do the events, I bring all my gear out and I set it all up for everybody. And so like I'll set ITC devices up and we'll all ask group questions and people will come through. And then I have followers that come out and bring their own ITCs. So like we're having a lot of white noise ITCs and we do open house style of investigations. So like we'll get full buildings and use the whole building as like splitting up investigations instead of huddling in like a circle. So like when we're at the Boyd House, we had groups in the living room. Some groups are in the basement doing an Estes method while the other were in the children's room doing like a live EVP session. So like it was really interactive. And I'm investigating the whole time with everybody, but I'm helping everybody out, like learn how to use equipment or what certain pieces do and, kind of making sure everything's running smoothly. But I am investigating the whole time. Like,
do you have a lot of people?
Nathaniel has a question when you get a. Just
Go ahead. Go ahead.
Let's see. Hold on. I got to pull it back up. Brady, how?
I see it.
Okay, go ahead. You want to read it? Shane can't see it because he's on his phone. So
Brady, how do you close out your investigation? Some will say you can't follow me home. Some will say, some will not. What's your method? I always say you cannot follow me home. When I open investigations, I always tell them my name right away. I say, I come to your house in respect. I want to know about you. I mean, no disrespect to you, not cornering you, that kind of a scenario. It differs every time, but I always do the same introduction. And when I leave, I will say, don't follow me home. I thank them for allowing me to use their place, their residence. So it's just, I always have good ways of closing it out, at least.
That's good. And I believe everybody should have their unique way of being able to communicate where they don't leave with an attachment. And I believe grounding and protecting is like really, really big. Before I go in, I use frankincense, and frankincense was accepted by God even in the Old Testament near the Ark of the Covenant. And they said it was a pleasing aroma to God. And then you think about the gifts that were laid at Jesus' feet was frankincense and myrrh. So a lot of the frankincense that you use, and I take it and I have my wife stand out with her arms open, and I take the frankincense and I go all around her body, and I say I release any and all negative energy around my wife, and I replace it with the light, love, peace, and the protection of God.
Okay.
And I go around her, she goes around me. So any residual energy that I could have before going in, because we do a lot of residentials,
Yep.
and we don't ever want to have anything that may be with us to affect our clients any more than they already have.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, no, I completely get that. That's awesome that you do that.
Yeah. So what is now Minnesota? You know, a lot of people don't think like when you're thinking of like massive haunted places and things like that. You know, Minnesota's getting on the map because of people like you. And now, how many like known investigators do you guys have out there?
In Minnesota,
Yeah.
how many known investigators? I would say I have to think off the top of my head here. Of course, Dave Schrader. I mean, that guy
Oh yeah,
he
that's a
is
given.
the
That's a
number one
given.
dude in the state, rightfully so. Dave Schrader's. You have Grady Hughes from Grayed Out Paranormal. I know that. Yep, Grady Hughes. Next to that, you have the Maps. They're out here in
Oh yeah.
Brainerd too. Yep, they're out here in Brainerd too. I haven't crossed paths with them. They're doing events as well. They're another one that's established out here. You have Reaper. You have the Reaper Paranormal, Doug Sievers. They're kind of a new team that's establishing. If you guys haven't heard of Doug Sievers at all,
Yes, I've heard of them.
yeah,
I've
yeah,
heard the name. I don't think I've ever ran across him
yeah.
anywhere.
Doug Sievers. He's a supporter of mine. I've been on his podcast in the past. He is an absolutely awesome person. He runs Reaper Paranormal. They're a newer team here. They're kind of just establishing themselves now, doing events in the metro area. But he's a really good person. I haven't met his team outside of him, but they're an up and rising team too. I'm trying to think of some teams that are out here too. I'm not sure. That's a very good question though, man. I appreciate that.
Because I know you guys have hit or miss with the weather and stuff like that. And I know it's Minnesota, so you guys get Canadian drifts and stuff like that. So I mean, it wouldn't be very difficult to have you guys snowed in or whatever. Now, how many months out of the year do you actually get solid investigating?
Oh, we'll do it all year. When I drove at the Boyd House, when I filmed at the Boyd House, I almost like literally died in a snowstorm going there. And I was like, I'm getting here no matter what. Yeah, like I had my seizure 3 months before, and I was like, I need to go investigate the Boyd House. And they're like, out at Gold Lake here in Brainerd, they're like, it's whiteouts, you can't drive. We prefer you go home. So I keep going. So we got through it. We got to the Boyd House.
People like us, that would scare people like us.
Oh.
We're from the South. You know,
Yeah,
that would scare people like us.
Yeah, we get like 3 feet of snow up here. So, I mean, last winter we had like 2.5 feet of snow.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
If we get snow here, we got snow last year around here.
They panic.
Yeah, I mean they really do. And listen, I literally live next to a bunch of islands.
Yeah, he does.
I live next to a bunch of islands, and I live in Beaufort, South Carolina, and I'm right outside of Hilton Head, where Hilton Head Island is, and stuff like that. And there's a bunch of sea islands around here. So, I mean, I remember I didn't even see snow for the first time until I was like 13, 14 years old. And because there's so much salt in the air here, it doesn't stick. But then you get some freaks like happened last year to where, you know, there's snow on the ground, and it's so weird here because you can literally smell the salt in the air around here. You could smell the salt water coming in off of here with snow on the ground. And it's just it's really weird. And people here, they freak out here. They can't drive. And that's the thing is like they had like this much snow on the ground, this much in 2018, and they canceled school for my son.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Nate has another question, but yeah, Brady, when here, I used to be a medic, and I had to pick up so many people. We had to get out in the mess to pick them up because they couldn't drive. But But the thing is, we can get some pretty snow, but by the time people hit it, it gets all like a slushy.
Yep.
And then at night it's black ice. And people,
Black ice.
even though they preach it on the news, black ice, don't go out unless you have to. People still going to get out and be silly and get hurt. And it's their fault because they shouldn't, but people freak here. They freak out when they know bad weather.
Especially if they live in a place like up near Greenville and stuff like that, where you have these rolling hills. Where you have these rolling hills, and then once you get down those rolling hills and you get to the bottom, and then you hit that black ice that goes, your brakes don't work.
Oh yeah, yep.
We're skating.
Yeah, they
right
don't.
From the lake, and it's like he's at the saltwater. Well, I'm at the lake, and I'm like right up from it, and it's terrible. So Nate has another question. Thank you, Nate, for the question. He says, "Have you been to?" And I'm gonna mess this name up for sure. Forepaw.
Yep.
Restaurant in St. Paul, Minnesota. That place has been on my bucket list for a while. Cool. It's rumored to be haunted by a maid and a few other spirits. So have you been there?
What's it called again?
Forepaw's Restaurant.
Forepaw's.
I have not been there. I've heard all about it too. Like, I have never been there, Nathaniel. I really want to go there. There's a lot of places in St. Paul I want to go to, but I want to go to the Wabasha Street Caves there. That is the number one location that I definitely want to do something at. Just the mafia ties to it and everything. I love that.
Where's that now?
Wabasha Street Caves. It's in St. Paul, Minnesota.
I have.
Yeah,
now, how hard is it to get into these locations? Like that's one thing that people are having. Like here, for instance, I live an hour and a half away from Charleston. And that's where the Civil War started.
I've been there.
Was in Charleston, South Carolina. And a lot of the places that used to be open for paranormal ghost tours and things like that, people like GA and stuff like that have come and ruined it, to where these people have completely closed these locations down from doing paranormal investigating because of how people have treated the locations here.
So, yeah, yes, it is, Doug. Dude, that's why I'm like calling it out in a platform, Doug. Thank you. I'm like, let me in.
Yeah.
Like Wabasha.
Doug is saying that. What's up? Say it. Say the word, because I'm gonna mess it up.
Wabasha.
Yeah, there you go. It's tough to get in. Yeah, I've heard of it, and expensive.
So to answer your question here, did you say, how do I get into these locations?
Yeah. How hard is it to get in?
It's a process. I mean, like if I'm looking at historical locations, it goes to reaching out to the cities, like the actual, like the city hall of each city, so they can have a meeting on even doing a paranormal filming or anything involved. If I'm going to a historic location, it's not as easy as just getting a ghost hunt. Like if you're going to film there, there's a lot of stuff you need to do. Like, for example, people are shutting down locations for the general public to go in and investigate. You are right on that. And when you reach out with your intent and you reach out with what your purpose is, you get told no 10 times more than you get told yes. I'm telling you that. Like, I have been shut down so many times doing this, but I think it's more of just kind of building your name and your respect. And because a lot of these places are filled with rich history, and people are very cautious of you to even go around the artifacts there in a closed setting. You know, they need to know you. They need to understand your intent, because everybody investigates different.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Absolutely, every single person I've been around investigates totally different. There might be some similarities that they've learned from people, but everybody has different beliefs. They have different questions. They have different preferred methods of their investigation, with certain tools or with their own senses. Everybody is different. You know, so like I understand why these historic buildings aren't allowing public investigations as much anymore, and not even to need like point the fingers at GA, because I know that there is some issues there, but like the main thing is, like, I think people are just getting really protective of the history of locations, and they don't want to focus on the ghost being there more than the history. At some of these, so that's kind of the no to you that you'll get at some places. But you have to grind for it. I mean, if you want to get into any place involved with history, you have to reach out to the establishment, the city. You have to reach out. You have to get meetings. You have to get, because it falls into everything, how they promote the business. But it is good for businesses because it brings new eyes to businesses. I feel a paranormal community is getting big. You know, and when you're learning there's these haunted locations with actually rich history and valid reasons for the haunt. People are going to, they're going to be drawn to it more. And it's going to be Big Winnie, for example.
Yeah.
Like the second they came out about the haunt with the Chasing Paranormal, their business boomed. I mean, that is just like people love ghosts. And it's a thing that I think more establishments should be open to people going and investigating. But I know that it's a very sensitive topic.
It is very sensitive, especially around here.
It's like, it goes back to you having to, like, I wasn't established in any way in the beginning. It was kind of me like seeing who would give me a shot. But now I feel the more I'm getting into it, the more I can get into harder to get places, even though some are still tough. Like Wabasha. I'm bringing up Wabasha Street caves. And what was the question she asked beneath about my...
She was asking, speaking of tools, or wait a minute. Is it one before that? I'm sorry. Is it that the one? She said,
that's the one. Yep, that's the one.
Yeah.
My go-to tool is my SB7 Spirit Box. I have gotten the most answers I have ever received in the paranormal field through that device. I believe white noise creates an energy to communicate with. I have had nothing but valid stuff come through that constantly through filmings at events. People can even validate that. I love white noise. That is kind of like my thing. Spirit boxes. I love ITCs. I love devices that have 9-volt battery power over charging them too. I like those. You get that? I like the old school. I like the old school style of just going off the 9-volt batteries, not having to worry about plugging crap in. I like the old school method of investigation. You'll see me with a K2, a Spirit Box. I got a good EVP recorder that records 360 audio. I have my night cams. I'll come with my REM pod. I have dowsing rods, but dowsing rods, you need to learn how to do them before you use them.
I'm glad you brought that up, man, because that's a big stipulation that people base a lot of their evidence on. And I can see the debunking going in people's heads right now, that when you said that right there, and tell them, explain why it's so important to know what you're doing with dowsing rods.
Well, because you're literally holding on to something that I believe dowsing rods have to be one of the highest forms of getting an attachment, because you're holding on to something that's literally magnetizing.
It's already connected. Yeah.
Going off of the water in the earth, and they're using that as spirit communication. You're holding on to copper. So you're sitting there holding on to these dowsing rods as I believe it's like a beacon of energy when you're holding on. Do you think so on that? It's kind of like a conduit. Yeah, conduit. There you go. Yeah, it's kind of like. Do you use dowsing rods?
I do.
Yeah, I've had luck with them. I always tell people to be careful and do their research when I see people just picking them up and like hold on to them. Like, just do a little bit of research, because
here's what I believe. I believe that you should get with a reputable group and check them out. Or like, we teach classes here, so that's a big thing. And we take them out and show them how to not just use them in the class, but how to use them the right way to open up, intentions and close it out. And we teach them good habits. But if you're going, if you're out there somewhere that doesn't teach classes, you don't have a reputable person, get somebody reputable. Find them. If you have to drive a couple hours, it is worth it. You do not want an attachment.
Yeah.
You do not want one.
And back to Nathaniel on the established thing.
Yeah, I'm trying to get back there.
Yeah, get back to that. This is a perfect conversation. I'm enjoying this whole conversation.
Sorry, Nate, it gets flipping and it goes. All right, let's see. Is that the one?
Nope. It's the one on establishing yourself. Like, I have something to say on that.
Yeah. I'm
sorry,
that's a good
Nate. One. I like what he typed. That's a good thing.
And Aaron, we see you too. Aaron said hello.
Yeah. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in. I appreciate all of this.
It is nice to get
there. Right there. So, Nathaniel, you've been doing this for as long as me. The thing is, with that statement, like,
if you don't mind,
you get yourself, never take no for an answer, guys. Like, this is what I'm trying to say. It's not even like an ego statement. Keep driving forward. When you get no in this field, go on to the next. Try for another location. Do not let no motivate you, because when you finally get into a location that will blow your mind that you got into it, and you investigate there out of respect, it's going to allow doors to open up for you that you do not know by just the historians even respecting you for what you do for the business and promoting it. And anyway, it's kind of just never give up. And I never gave up, and it got me into Big Winnie, and it got me into the Franklin County Jail. There are locations out there that you're literally one location away from getting your big break on being the first to even get in there, but it's not an easy job to do. You know, so I'm just saying it takes a lot of work for anything involving media or even investigating, because it's a sensitive topic. You know, it's
we have a location here in Beaufort that's right on the waterway, and it's called the Cuthberg Inn, and it's a beautiful, beautiful Civil War home, like right on the water. And they have a lot of wedding venues and things like that. And I was talking to the owner of that place for months and months, and I was like, you know, we want to do you know, a 2-day investigation there. And I said, this is going to be like in off season, so could you give us a pretty good discount? And they were like, oh, of course, we'll look out for you. I didn't hear anything back. And then I got a call on the third day, and they were like, yeah, for 2 days, you guys will have the whole house minus one room. One room there was going to be someone in that room. We could have the rest of it to do our event and everything. Listen at this price, man, and tell me $14,000 for 2 days.
Oh, no.
Oh my goodness, that is insane.
I couldn't believe it. I said, you do realize that you're dealing with paranormal investigators. Like no one is gonna have that. You know, we don't have like a mom or dad that comes through, you know, and the lady was like, just charge more for your ticket. I'm like, you'll literally have nobody, you know, no one's going to want to spend $300-400 on a ticket for 2 days when you're covering $14,000, $7,000 per day.
That is such an investment. Like, you wouldn't even have fun. You just have anxiety of having to pay.
Yeah, that's exactly what I would have.
I would be like, somebody's going to break something. Oh my goodness, yeah.
I'm sitting there. I'm sitting there like trying to put equipment out, shaking. I'm like,
yeah.
You know, I mean, it was just, oh my gosh, but $14,000, and I was like, and my wife heard that, and her mouth about hit the floor. And I was like, I know. Wow. And so I started talking to other locations, and I'm friends like with Hinsdale and Edinburgh and several people in Connecticut, like the infield, and I started seeing what they charge and things like that, and it's like those people really didn't want to have paranormal investigators there. They wanted it to be kept for you know, wedding venues and stuff like that. And because we were doing a paranormal thing there, that we would be activating stuff that they wanted to ridiculously charge us. And we were never going to do that.
No.
I don't know anybody that would, not even TV place, you know, shows and stuff. That's just, that's
what I ask you about locations, because like there's so many locations here, and Pete, you would think that they would base a lot of their stuff off the historical history, you know, this being low country through here. You know, the Civil War started in Charleston right off Fort Sumter, you know, to have ghost tours there, the Yorktown, you know, and the old city jail that's down there. That used to be a place that you can go and do a walkthrough with groups of people at certain times at night, and they did ghost tours there. If you went there today, you can see they changed the entire city jail into a bunch of office buildings now.
Wow. Yeah, I passed the old city jail when I was there. That was and it's like an art institute when I was there up there. I think it was at the time, art, something for the art of college or something.
Yeah, it's sad. It's sad because like these people, you know, they really they respected the paranormal enough, but I don't think the right people respected the area around here.
Mm-mm.
And guys, it's so important to really take care of these locations. You know, when you go to a location, you know, leave it looking better than it was when you got there.
Absolutely.
Because if you
Amen.
go to these locations and you tear stuff up or you have stuff that's breaking everywhere and stuff like that, and you are, you know, antagonizing, you are making stuff break, and then all of a sudden you leave these locations a mess. You know, don't think that you're going to be one of those teams that location wants you back, because they're not going to. They're going to
They'll
ban
put
you
out the
from
word.
going. Yeah, and then it gets around. It does get around, because I've got these same locations that have contacted me and told me who is and who is not welcome to come to these locations.
True. Hey, Shane, you'll love this. Doug Severs, am I saying that right? Severs. He says,
Yep.
pick up your cat balls. Everywhere we go, there's always one in the corner or something. We lose them. Yeah, I don't know what it is.
Mhm. I know.
Yeah.
They do. They do. They. I
Yeah.
like them. I like taking them in clear cups, and you take like a solo cup and you put them there, and you can take the cat ball and put it inside the cup, so there's not a lot of vibrative movements there. And
Ah,
so if something touches it right there, you know that you know you're getting more of a solid response, you know, than just laying a cat ball there, because they are finicky. They will go off, but there's a way that you can calibrate cat balls too, to where they only go off if they're touched a certain way. And if you get the right ones, you know, don't go to PetSmart thinking that you're going to get ghost hunting equipment there. You know, they make particular cat balls that are used for that, and they're a little bit bigger, and they have a bottom button
Yeah,
that
we
you
use
take a
yeah,
yeah, that you take it. You take you. I have these ones where you can literally take a needle and you can put it in this little small hole right below it, and it goes through different levels, and
oh,
it
really?
goes where it'll touch it and it'll blink a few times, and then you can get it again to where it's just a solid blink, and you want to get it on the one to where it stays longer. So when you get on there, you know, then take it and put it in a place. And then if it goes off, that means something directly touched your cat
Yep.
ball.
Yep. That makes sense. That's awesome. That's cool. I'll have to try that.
Yeah, yeah. But like I said, I'm old school, man. You know, it wasn't anything for us not to use like solo cups and ping pong balls, you know, because that was our
Nathaniel.
equipment back in the day. That was our
Yeah,
equipment
Nathaniel's
back in the
saying he
day.
can get you. Can you hear me, Shane?
Yeah.
I'm bleeping. Mine's freezing or something. Nate says he can get you some cat ball holders. You don't have to use a cup. But I tell you, I like my cat balls on the floor because they roll them. They'll actually move them for you.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
they
Yeah.
have. So
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I do like them. I do like them, but like I said, I'm old school with that, you know, and I use red solo cups and ping pong balls for yes and no. It's an old school version, but you take and turn the cup upside down, and then you take the ping pong balls and you take them and rubbing it against your head, which causes static electricity. So
Oh,
if something gets close to the ping pong
true.
ball, it shoots off the top of the cup.
oh, that's awesome.
So I mean, but that's
They need
old school, man. That's not they see, and people don't do stuff like that anymore. And paranormal equipment has gotten to where it's ridiculous. Oh, I want you to look somebody up to, Brady. His name is John Huntington. John
Yep.
Huntington's a good friend of mine, and he makes some of the best spirit boxes you can get.
Really?
Oh, I'm telling you, he's got videos. He's literally got videos. I can send you some videos to where he's got a spirit box on and he's sitting there cooking bacon. He's cooking bacon and he'll ask and he'll be like, "What's in that pan?" And you'll hear it filter through, and all of a sudden you'll hear bacon. I love bacon.
What the?
And it's amazing, and his spirit communicating is some of the absolute best by far I have ever seen or heard. I have one of his first original boxes, and it's a radio. It looks like a little black radio. It's all over YouTube, but that's one of the ones that he used to use a lot, and I've got that one. It's called the Huntington,
Yep.
and I'm telling you, I love that thing. I love it. But and the thing is he got tired of seeing people pay an arm and a leg, for him there. John Huntington takes care of his mother. And all he's looking for is, just he'll charge parts and stuff like that, but it is so reasonably priced and you will get good quality stuff. I mean, he not only keeps in touch with you the whole time while he's making it, is he'll make it, and then once he's at the post office, he'll show you and take a picture of the box that he sends it in. He'll send you everything. He'll send you all the tracking information, everything. And then when you get it, I mean, he is a phenomenal guy. But you look him up on YouTube and look up John Huntington. And I'm telling you, you will not be disappointed.
Okay. Thanks for the suggestion. I'll check it out.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely.
We got about 10-ish minutes if you want to kind of get to the end and make sure he does his contact.
Yeah. I see people are still asking or coming on. What are they saying here?
About most of them are just kind of saying hi, how our little community does, and talking about stuff. Now, Marla, who's a good friend of ours, she's going to Salem. Marla can't wait. I have a giggle ball, and my dogs and cats refuse to play with it. I wonder how that would work with child spirits. You know what? I would try it. And
Definitely.
Nate says, I love that. Just like people pay an arm and a leg for a REM pod, when you can build a rudimentary one for like a quarter of the price. That's true. If you're good with that kind of stuff, you can.
Yeah. And REM pods are so ridiculously expensive. But I mean, if you find the right person, you can literally get a solid REM pod for under $50 if you got
paranormal. Horn Paranormal. Scott Horn and his wife, they make incredible equipment. Yep. I have the REM pod that I got a Searchers REM pod of theirs right when they came out, because I chat with the guys from Searchers, and on and off, not often, but I got theirs and supported theirs, and it works like a charm. Yeah, it's the best REM pod, and I think I paid like $60 for it.
Horn Paranormal. If you guys haven't seen that, go check out their page, because they are phenomenal. They build their own casings. They build their own casings and things like that. Like their night vision that hooks onto your camera.
Yep,
is phenomenal. It is phenomenal, and he's right. Horn is absolutely fantastic.
They're honest people. They get your stuff to you. They make it in shop. I mean, they're just good people. So and they'll message you back quick with anything you want to know. So
it is custom stuff, guys. They make custom equipment. There won't be two that are like each other. You may have a very unique one there, but I'm telling you, if you get that equipment, it's well worth what you're going to pay for it.
Oh yeah, absolutely. It really is.
Mm-hmm. So, like I said, we've got about 8 minutes left. Mm-hmm. Maybe why don't you tell people how to get a hold of you?
Can I give people a rundown fast of what's ahead quick? I have so much ahead going on. Next week,
that's fine.
I am having Patty Negri come to Brainerd, Minnesota to do a gallery reading at Coco Moon. It's almost sold out. And then after that is when I will literally be getting ready to go out to Broadhead, Malvern Manor. I'm going to be doing a Brainerd event. I'm going to be trying to get one out in the Twin Cities area. I am going to be pushing the Join the Chase tour this next year for interactive investigations everywhere. And on top of it, November 22nd, I'm kicking off the Portals and Pathways podcast with 28 Days Haunted star Ray Cossey. The 29th, I got Sam Beltrusis. I got on December 6th, Grady Hughes from Grey Duck Paranormal. December 13th, Rob Demirs from Ghost Hunters International. I got December 20th, Shane Pittman from Searchers, Holzer Files, Paranormal Mysteries, and then Brittany Bickett and Larry Eisler are ending the month from Ashes to Echo Paranormal. So I got six.
They're good friends of mine. They're good friends of mine too.
Yeah, we are going to be. I'm bringing it this whole month. I am bringing the podcast for the fans from the off months of the events. I'm going to have people from all across the field coming in and telling their stories, behind the scenes, everything. And then you can get a hold of me on Facebook if you need to for any events. If you need to see Chasing Paranormal past episodes, if you need to see what events are ahead, you can go to facebook.com/Bady Chasers. You can go onto the Portals and Pathways Facebook page. I have it on Spotify, where every Sunday, starting November 23rd, there will be a Spotify audio release of every single interview I am doing with everybody across the field. So I have a busy month ahead already. And
can they find you? Could they find you just by like your name, Bady Goble, like on there, or should they look something else up to
you
find
can look
you?
me up on Google. You can just type Bady Goble with Goble, and you can just type that in on the Google search and probably pops up because there's probably not many people with my name.
Yeah,
So
definitely.
There's
You have a very
you can even type Bady Goble, Minnesota, and it'll probably pop up. I mean, but yeah, it's just /Bady Chasers for Chasing Paranormal. So.
Mm-hmm. And that's amazing, man. You've been an amazing guest, man. And I can sit there and talk to you forever. And I really appreciate you taking time to come on and speak with us. And like I said, I love hearing about people that support their state and things like that. And you, like I said, you really put a spotlight on a lot of the areas of Minnesota that people like us over here, wouldn't know.
Thank you, man.
They wouldn't know about from people until people like you. And that it's we're grateful for that, because we always wonder, and we're like, what about Minnesota and Iowa and stuff like that? Then you got like Brittany Beckett and Larry and the axe murder house in Iowa. And then you got then you start seeing all these different paranormal people that live close to that area, and then you learn about people like you, and then I see, and I'm like, man, I said, he really takes a lot of pleasure in Minnesota and bringing a spotlight to Minnesota, and that's so commendable, man. And that state should be super proud of you, because you are keeping the historical value of that place relevant.
Thank you so much for that. That means so much to hear. Thank you, honestly. Yeah, I work tirelessly to bring people enjoyment, and it's not easy. Like, I was just on the phone with Patty Negri. We're getting everything set up to bring her here this week. I'm so excited for this. Everything's just booming, and the supporters are fantastic. I mean, we're just building this very tight circle of people that want to join the chase, and they want to learn about the history of these locations, and people are opening doors. And now, you got the Boyd House, you got No Pemming just closed, but you got the William A. Irvin, the Palmer House, you have Leduc Historic Estate, you have Big Winnie, you have the Chase on the Lake, you have, there's so many places across Minnesota now that are openly haunted compared to what there were before, that you can investigate. The Thayer Hotel in Rochester. I'm not even thinking of other things. I'm running out of all these things in my head.
Now, quick question. Now, are there like outside events and stuff there in Minnesota?
I tried. I'm not sure. Like, people do different events in the South, but in Brainerd, the way I've been running them, I've been basing them out of historic locations where I do gallery readings, where I bring psychic mediums in to pick up on the energy from the building and the spirits there. I want to have them have something to actually work off of. You know, so I'm
Okay.
using the historic downtown area of Brainerd to like as my main spot for the events I'm doing because the tunnel system runs underneath downtown. They call it haunted downtown Brainerd. So it's like I believe in that downtown's bringing that energy. You know,
Yeah,
'cause-
that's where you got to get up. That's where you got to get up with Aaron Wing right there. If you do an outside event, because he's got this thing, man. I'm telling you, he can walk up in nature like that, and he gets grounded. I mean, and he feels things that are around, and then all of a sudden you'll see him pull out and take a picture or something like that, and you're like, man, what are you taking a picture of, a leaf? You know, but he's really
Yeah,
got
a
something
leaf.
on there. But he's really got
Nice.
something.
No, Aaron's awesome. No, I've chatted
Oh, I
with him
know.
for years.
I know.
He's such a good dude. I mean, I have to meet him soon because he's out by Duluth, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yep.
And he's such an amazing, I mean, like, he's been through so much with me, man. Like, he's been my team director for a couple of years now. And I couldn't think of a better guy. Not only that, but he's with our order too, you know, so I mean, it's amazing having him around, man. And
No, it was nice because he gave me an invite to be an admin for the Nationwide Paranormal Group, and I was like, he's like, I know you got a lot on your plate. And I was like, but I really like what he has going here. It's what I do, and
that's
so
it.
I'm
That's
helping
it.
him out with that.
And the thing is, I love Aaron because the way that he wants to help promote people and stuff like that too. Like, he's got a paranormal page. Outer Realms Paranormal is an actual team, so I have him as team director for Outer
Awesome.
Realms as the team was, and then he promotes nationwide through Outer Realms too.
Yep. Yeah, I've been pushing stuff through that group. It's a good
He
group.
promotes
It really
us,
is.
and I appreciate it.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah, absolutely. I'm always on the
Yeah.
team. So
Well, Brady, I appreciate you coming on, man.
I know, he's
We gotta cut it right here. But man, you've been an awesome guest, and I thank you so much for coming on, brother.
thank you for having me. I
right.
really appreciate
Yeah.
meeting you
Can
guys.
you
It was
hang
a
out?
blast.
Can you hang out in the back?
Yeah,
for
yeah,
a minute?
absolutely. I'll hang out. Yep.
Yeah, you too. Can you hang out in the back for a minute?
All right.
I'm glitching, guys. So if I'm
Yep.
saying something twice, I'm sorry. So I'm gonna
No,
pull
it's
you
okay.
down, and I'll see you in a minute.
All right. All right. Well,
All right.
that's him.
Here we
That's him. That's the ghost guy. And he's got
Nice.
so much going on, guys. You guys look him up over there because, like, he's bringing a real star into Minnesota because there's so many places over there that he has brought attention to, and he's up and coming. He's got so much stuff going on. And you guys go check him out. He's a great dude. His name is Bady Goble. You know, you guys go and check him out. Look at his page. Send him a friend request, and stay tuned because you're going to see some big things coming from this guy. But I wanted to thank all of you for coming on. Nathaniel, Aaron, Christy. I see all of you. Thank you so much, guys.
Marla.
And
They're so
you know,
unique,
Marla.
and they talk with each other. Yeah, so it's nice. It's nice.
And thank you guys so much for coming on. It just shows community support, and that's what we should be about, right? But I thank you guys for being here, and you guys have a great week. Stay safe, be blessed always, and stay spooky, people. Peace.